Right, we're nearly ready to sew now. So what we're going to do, we're going to open out our pieces so we can see what we've got. So give them a good old shake. We've got enough room. So we've got a front and a back for the bottom half. Still haven't got enough room. Got a front and a back for the bottom half. They're both exactly the same, so don't worry about getting them mixed up. And then we're going to put right sides together, one of the yolks, matching up. What's a yolk? What is a yolk? It's not the yolk of an egg, although that does give you some clue as to what it is, because it's a section within a section. I can't think of how else to describe it. So we're going to put our yolks together, matching up our centre notches. Do the same on the other side. And then we're ready to sew. But do you know what? When you sew this, because this is quite a long distance, isn't it, really? Stretchy fabric, quite a long distance. I'm going to tell you to sew from the centre going out, and then the same on the other side, and then repeat on the back piece as well. Right, so I'm going to start sewing. Now I'm going to start in the middle there, and I'm going to go out to the edge and the same there. And do you know what? When you sew, because we're sewing stretchy material, just as you sew, just give it a little stretch as you go. Only a little bit though, because otherwise the seam just looks really odd. So right sides together, starting in the middle, seam allowance about 1.5 centimetres, and stitch about number 3, and off you go. So what you should look something like this. Look, have a look. But we need to zigzag the edges. So put your sewing machine to zigzag and zigzag your edges. So remember, you just stretch it. Look what I'm doing. You just give it a little stretch as you do the zigzag. Little stretch, only a little stretch. So this is what we've got so far. Right, that's my original t-shirt. Have a look at my original t-shirt, because I'm trying to decide, do I want a top stitch on here? It looks really good on the original one, and it just sort of makes it stand out a bit more. Yeah, I'm going to go for top stitch. So, doing this top stitch business, like people say to me, oh, how do you get it so straight? I just find a point on the foot. So here, my point on the foot is that little line there, and I'm making sure it always lines up with my seam. Look how brilliant it looks. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? Now, look, this is what I'm trying to get across to you lot. This t-shirt, very practical, ordinary t-shirt. Now, once I show you how to do these simple techniques and these simple things, when I say anyone can be a designer, of course I don't mean anyone can be a designer. You're not going to be Balenciaga or something, but you can create your own original clothes, because it's all about the fabric. This looks like a totally different top. So remember, you've got to do exactly the same on the other side. So you start in the middle, the yoke and the bottom half are right sides together, and off you go. Remember to stretch both of them a little bit as you go. Look how lovely they look. They just look gorgeous, don't they? This is the front, you can tell because it's got a deeper scoop, and this is the back. And now what we're going to do, we're going to put right sides together, and before we do anything else, we're just going to stitch up one shoulder seam. So this is what we've got so far. It gets more and more exciting as you go along. Look, that's that seam that I just did. I just stitched it up and I zigzagged. Okay, you can see the zigzag, and then I pressed it. Always press, it's nice, it makes it more professional. So we've done that. So what's the next bit? The next bit that we need to do is to finish off this neckline here. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to cut a strip of the fabric from my leftover fabric, and I'm going to press it and fold it over, and I'm going to apply it as if I'm applying ribbing. And we leave this opening here So I didn't do you remember I didn't do that other shoulder? And the reason why is because it's so much easier to finish off a neckline just as one great big open piece, because you'll feel like that you're applying it onto a straight line rather than a curve. So we've got our fabric. This is my leftover fabric. I've got a little left over, haven't I? I'm going to cut a long strip which I'm going to use for the ribbing. Remember, I have to fold it over. So I think I probably just always do it a bit wider, because you can always trim it off after it's been attached. So what have I got there? About 4 centimetres, I'd say. And then you just cut a long strip. Now it's really annoying how it just all curls in. Don't worry about it, because we'll press it. So look, it's really annoying. See how it just all curls. Get off, get off, get off. But what we're going to do, see, I'm just going to press it. So you put the wrong sides together, get it in the middle like that, and you're just going to press it. Now I'm not stretching it at this point. All I'm doing is I'm just pressing it so I have a bit more control over it. Look, that's so much better than that curly sausage, isn't it? So you do that all the way along. So I've got my strip, I've just folded it over, and I made sure that it's perfectly on the edge, because I just want to trim it back a little bit so it's a bit neater and a bit more manageable. Right, now what we're going to do with this, so this is the open top. It's all opened out, open shoulder seam. So all I'm going to do is apply it around here as if it's ribbing. So in order to do that, I'm going to put it there, and as I sew, I stretch. As I sew, only stretch the ribbing. So I'm going to add that strip now onto the neckline, the strip that I'm using as ribbing to finish off the neckline, and I'm going to stretch the strip as I sew, but not the neckline. I'm going to trim off that excess bit, and make sure you trim it off just a little bit extra, just in case. So that's what we've got. And now I'm just going to zigzag that raw edge before we top stitch it. So now, see all these little bumpy bits here where it looks like it's puckering? Don't worry about it, because we're going to press them out. They'll become like that when we press them. And we're going to press this seam so it's flat like that. So I'm going to do that now with the iron. Right, I just want to say something about the pressing. Try and have it so it's falling into the shape of how it's going to be. So don't have it all straight, because then you won't get the shape of the neckline as you're pressing, because you are stretching it, but you want it to be in the shape. So I've got it sort of round like this, and I'm just sort of easing it a little bit and pressing it like that little corner there. I want that to go in where it's sticking up. So if I just go like that a bit, it will sort of shape itself like that. So look, this is what we've got so far. Now what I'm going to do, we've now got to stitch up the other shoulder seam. Now what we're going to do, it's very important to make sure that that's exactly together. Trim off those excess bits so it's in line with the shoulder. And so you're going to stitch along the shoulder, zigzag it and press it. Look at the finish on that neckline. Okay, look, that didn't involve any skill. All that we did, we just trapped it in there. And then when it's all pressed, it's all neat and you can't see it. This just looks like a regular t-shirt. Well, the finishing off looks like a regular t-shirt, otherwise it's an amazing, amazing designer looking t-shirt. The next thing that we need to do now, do you remember this bit here? These are our arms. Might not look like it, but they are. So what we've got to do, we've got to zigzag the edge, and then we're going to press that back to wherever we want to hem it to. I'm going to have it a bit like that. And you can use, if you want, you can bond it with a thin strip of bonder web. Don't use pins. And then we're just going to stitch it on the sewing machine. And we'll be stitching it that way round. Not that way round, but that way round. Right, as you're pressing, just make sure, as you're pressing, that you just stretch it a little bit. So that, look, if you look at this, so as you press, make sure that that seam lines up, stretch it a little bit, that seam lines up, stretch it a little bit, that seam lines up. So I've pressed it. I don't need to use Wonder Web because I can manage it. In fact, I think most of you wouldn't need to use it. But what you do need to know is when you sew, you sew on that side, not on that side, and you feel, because you can feel the zigzagged edge, so you can feel where the seam is. I don't know why, but I think it feeds it through more neatly so it doesn't get all twisted up. So I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to sew just a little bit in on where I feel that zigzagged edge. So this is what I've just done. So I've zigzagged the edges, I've pressed it back, and now I've stitched that seam there. Now we've got to turn it all right sides together and line it all up, right sides together, and we're nearly there. And now we're going to sew from underneath the arm in the armpit down to the hem. Now if that's too long a distance for you, cut that bondi web about 2mm, go to the iron and just glue it all in place first and then sew. But I'm going to be fine doing it, so I'm just going to go straight into it. Zigzag the edges and press at the end. Now just to remind you, you must stretch a little bit as you sew, stretch as you sew, because otherwise what will happen is you'll go and put the top on and all the seams, all the stitches will just all snap and break. So you turn it the right way round. I've sewn up the sides, I've zigzagged the sides. I haven't pressed it yet, but I think I'm going to press it at the end. But look at what we've got. How brilliant is that? But we haven't finished yet, we haven't done the hem. So, for the hem, just the same as doing the armholes, we're going to have to press it back, well, zigzag it, and then press it back. You can hold it in place with wonder web if you want, but if you're okay to just go without any wonder web, that's fine, and you can do it like a half at a time or something. So this bit's all about remaining the right distance away from the edge and being consistent and carrying on all the way round. So how I do it is I see how much my foot is away from the edge, which for me is about 2mm, and I'm just going to carry that on all the way round. This is it. This is that moment. Right. Oh, it's just amazing. Right, I'm going to try it on the dummy and see what it looks like. Look at that. Look at that. So I started off with this t-shirt because I just loved the shape of it, but I made it out of this wonderful fabric that cost me £2, by the way. This t-shirt cost £2, not £200, £2. And do you know what? I love it so much, I have to try it on. So excuse me, I'm just going to try it on. Speechless! I am speechless. Look! Look how fantastic it is. You want one, don't you? Well, you can't have one unless you do my tutorial.